Hi, I'm Joanne Carey. Welcome back to my channel, and I'm so excited to be back with Tal for another Talking with the Guides episode. And today we're going to be talking about the body and the bodies in the larger sense.
Yes, I'm very excited about this. Thank you, Joanne, for continuing our little project here.
So
Um,
excited.
I know, me too. I'm really excited. I've been really wanting to do this one for a while. I've been really looking forward to it. Um, before we go into it, though, I would like to just do like a little disclaimer saying that because we are going to be talking about the physical body as well as the energy bodies, but the physical body, and we are going to be talking about issues relating to health, etc. It's just important that anyone watching the video understand that nothing we talk about is meant to be construed as medical advice or to replace medical advice. And, basically, if you're having physical symptoms, regardless of where you think or why you think they've originated, like just go to the doctor, like talk to a health professional. That,
Absolutely.
yeah, just important to note before we go in. But um, so how should we proceed? Would you like to start to connect? Let me know when you're ready.
Yes, yeah. Let me just give me a second and we'll bring forth the guides.
Okay.
Greetings, we are here, and we too are excited to be playing with you once again in conversation about all the things that interest those who will hear our words. We will keep our introduction short, for we know that there are many questions that will be of interest, and we are here. We are pleased to be here. We are pleased to be connecting, and we will turn the questions over to you.
Thank you so much. Um, and thank you for being with us as well. Um, so, kind of jumping off of the disclaimer that I just talked about with, I feel like a lot of times people on a spiritual path, um, we all get physical symptoms. Everyone who's in a body is going to at some point have an illness or a problem, a symptom, a discomfort. I feel like a lot of times we're very quick to say, I'm having ascension symptoms, or, if someone gets vertigo, they'll think that it's because the energy is really strong rather than, maybe something's actually wrong with them. So, like, how real in your view are ascension symptoms, and like how do we deal with them, because whether they're ascension symptoms or not, there's still like things happening in the body. In other words, how do we figure out what's happening because the energies are increasing and what's happening because like we're just sick?
We first wish to start off with mm, an awareness of the belief that was brought forth, that is, in fact, a humanity belief that everyone will experience pain and discomfort in their bodies. Unless you are physically harming the body, it is not actually a necessity to experience pain in that way. However, through eons of time, through density, your bodies do, in fact, mm, are disserviced, let's say, by the thoughts and beliefs that they age, that they must get old, and you must have perhaps an achy back as you get old, or your face must become wrinkly and your hair must become gray. These are collective beliefs that you have as a group attributed to an aging process in the time space continuum. And we would suggest that through such belief patterns, you do in fact experience that. Your bodies were not intended to last such a short period of time. They can and will in time again live much longer periods of time than you would consider a average human length of time. However, through the societal belief structures, through what you are told by those who you respect in said perhaps medical uh, industries, you have over time, as a human collective, agreed to a term of engagement in working in the physical world. So, in time, as you begin to more fully understand who you are, the power you are as a being of light holding a physical form, you will find that the average length of the human lifespan will be much longer with much less, if any, dis-ease within the body. Now, you speak to ascension symptoms. The body is going through a physical transformation. It is changing at a cellular level. This is true. And this results in physical symptoms, for it is changing. The same way when you are growing up and your bones were growing, you felt growing pains. You could feel almost the growing bones in your body and your muscles and form and skin stretching as you grew. A similar evolution is happening as you become more of a light being, a lighter being, a higher frequency being, while maintaining the physical form that you are in. Some of these symptoms are those that are quite common. You may experience headaches. You may experience some disorientation. You may experience a feeling of your field, your energetic bodies moving in ways that give you what some might call vertigo or simple wobbles, as our channel likes to call them. You may feel a very tired. You may feel extremely energetic. There are a vast array of symptoms that you may experience. One of the challenges that you face right now is that you are not in tune to your bodies. You are not, many of you, most of you, we would suggest, are not in conversation with your bodies to understand what is this vehicle in its proper functioning and what is it in terms of a change. This could be you understanding if you have a physical symptom or an ascension symptom that is more energetic and or physically caused by an energetic transition. In time, and many of you are beginning to understand, to communicate with the body, either through muscle testing, some of you through pendulum. It matters not how, it is about understanding the vehicle you are in. Would you get a brand new Tesla? Would you get a brand new Lamborghini and then just drive it without understanding how to operate it in its efficiency? No. But you weren't given an owner's manual for your physical vessel. And the density of the plane allowed you to forget. And so you've been doing the best that you can within the density and frequency that you are in. This is perfect. As we circle back to your question about what should one do if they have awoken to the path of bringing them into a higher frequency, knowing that you are going through a great collective shift and evolution of consciousness where there are these symptoms, you must use your discernment. If it is something that is prolonged for a significant period of time, be it a week or two or longer, you should be seeking advice of those more traditional or even those holistic practitioners who may support you. Go to someone of your choosing who can support you. We shall use an example from our channel's existence. She didn't understand about spirit. She didn't know about ascension symptoms at first, but she started to feel energy. And she moved countries, and the energy progressed. It started to move up her body. She felt it in certain ways as it migrated further. And her initial thought was, these are ascension symptoms, because she became aware of what an ascension symptom was. She became aware of spirit. But when it kept on going up and she felt in her mind that there were questions, is this really that? Or is there something wrong? That is a perfect time. If you are questioning within yourself if there is something wrong, you are placing a focus that lowers your vibration. You are well served to go to a doctor or a medical practitioner to have them check out the physical vessel as you would take your car to a mechanic. There is nothing wrong with going to a mechanic. They are trained, they understand the nuances of the physical vessel. And so when you do that, and as in the case of this channel, she found after all of the tests, after all of the things were done, there was nothing wrong. And the benefit to her, as it would be a benefit to many, is you have peace of mind. Now you can relax into it and understand that that is all it is. And in her case, and we would recommend and suggest that others question as well, is how does it feel to you? What is your innate aspect of self, of your body? What are your guide teams saying to you? For you are being guided. As you ask questions, you are being given answers. So she knew that it felt quite pleasurable in her body, but it still didn't make sense to her mental mind. And so by going to the medical practitioners and getting the tests done, she knew that there was nothing wrong, and it allowed her to relax into, be in joy of all of the experiences that she was having. It is always better to have it checked out in a way that you feel comfortable with, so that you can relax your mind and go about this journey of evolution of consciousness in a positive, curious, and exploratory way. That will be of most benefit. If you are in fear, afraid that it might be something worse, that something might have happened, you're actually lowering your vibrational frequency, and you are actually allowing for yourself to go into resonance with that lower field. And as like attracts like, you end up bringing your focus to what might be wrong and can actually create distortion and unease in the body. Does that answer your question?
It does, and it was a beautiful and very helpful answer. Um, I have a few different directions I could go in, but something I wanted to ask based on what you said, something that was said earlier in the response about our lifespans becoming much longer as we start to become more light, have more of a light body in humans, whether it's crystalline or light or whatever it is. Do you feel that that's going to happen in our lifetime? Like, are those of us who are now, like I'm in my 50s right now, am I going to be able to have advantage of like that longer, not only lifespan, but health span where I'm feeling good in my body? Or is that something that's like for the next generation?
It'll be a limited impact in the lifetimes that you are in, because you are very much already experiencing from other now moments the ramifications of previous thought, of previous actions. And so you will not see yourselves perhaps living into the hundreds of years at this point in time. However, there are some amongst the human collective who haven't been as entwined with the fear frequency that has been on the planet, and they will see a larger, longer lifespan. But it is critical to know that there are infinite possibilities available, but your individual experience is still tied to the collective to a more or lesser degree, depending on your own belief systems and the uh, identity that you've brought in with you. So, what this means is that you, as you are coming into your knowing of yourself and your body as a body of beautiful ability to heal itself, and as you choose consciously to be aware of and allow release of the patterns of fear, the beliefs, the thoughts, the structures that you have agreed to throughout your lifetime, as you allow that to release and you become more light, higher frequency, you will experience that additional time if it is of your soul choosing. We shall simply say that as the beliefs are allowed to release, and as the collective as a whole also gains more light, so as each individual light worker, way shower, leader of light comes into their own knowing, and as they begin to believe and it becomes a more of a possibility within the collective, a longer lifespan will be a natural result of that. Most of those who will experience the longevity that we are speaking to will come in multiple generations from now. But for those who have an experience, who have a knowing, some people do this through a near death experience, some do this strictly through a soul plan and a conscious release, can see miraculous shifts and thus a shift in the length of time. But it is becoming aware of and it is releasing some of the basic fundamental premise that you as a human collective have agreed to. And even as one person chooses it, it can make a difference, but you are also working in tandem and in co-resonance with the broader collective. And so let's give you a different example. If all of a sudden you decided to believe that the sky should be red, you could think and believe that the sky is red all you want. But until there was a broader number, a greater agreement within the souls on the earth and the earth herself that the sky would be red, that would be a very limited experience. Not to say that the actual individual could not see or perceive red at times, but the whole broader perspective will not necessarily see it because that is not the agreement or the framework that was agreed to in order to be in this physical three-dimensional reality.
That was a very good example. I really like that example. And it's similar, other examples that my teachers have given over the years. We've all agreed that the wall is solid and that we can't walk through a wall. That doesn't mean that there aren't people who can, or who can somehow dematerialize and materialize, but that's not part of the agreement right now.
Mm.
So there might be people somewhere that can do it, but so
And
that
as one
makes
person can do it, you know it's possible, and it begins to seed the human collective with possibility that wasn't there before. And so just as the mm, the mile was run in over 4 minutes, then there was the runner who ran it in under. Then the next year, there was many who could beat it, but it had to be a possibility.
yes.
And so if you feel the call to believe, if you feel the call to explore and to know, you may have an experience, and that may support the collective in others having a similar experience. And you may see that in time with mm, your galactic families.
Interesting. I okay, yeah. I mean, it's funny. I was just about to talk about the mile, and it's like, I guess, is it called the 100 monkey effect or something? But there is a critical mass. So there's a critical mass element to this of, once a certain percentage of the population either knows something is possible or believes something to be true, the collective contract kind of gets amended, and we start to be able to perceive something different or achieve something different than we could before.
Even
Um,
look at what is coming through this channel. It is called channeling. Back 10, 20 years ago, this was not something that was common or normal. And now it is becoming part of the normal vocabulary of the human collective.
that is
And you
also
have the same thing with meditation. You have this with other spiritual practices that just within your lifespans were not well known, are now quite well known.
yes, yes. Um, absolutely. It's all part of that expansion and ascension. I agree, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the experience. Um, so let me see. So there was another area that I wanted to explore a little bit, and you did touch on it also in your response to the first larger question. Um, so here's my understanding, and you can certainly correct me if I'm misperceiving or if there's another way to look at it. But I have a simple view of like the four body system, that we have an energy body, beneath that, a mental body, beneath that, an emotional body, and beneath that, our physical body. So that our energy body is receiving and seeing and getting, whether it's vibrations or we're physically seeing things, it comes into the mental body for processing. And then based on that processing, it creates an emotion in the emotional body, whether it's a positive emotion that would create a cascade of positive hormones and responses in the physical body, or a negative emotion that might create a negative cascade of emotions in the physical body. And that on occasion, our physical bodies can get congested or have symptoms based on something that happened, whether it's a trauma or whether it's continued stress or whether it's uh, like going through a loss or something like that in life, that just comes through the energy, mental, and emotional bodies and kind of gets stuck in the physical body. um I may be oversimplifying in saying that, but I guess the question is, because we know that there are people who say that every illness and every dis-ease in the body comes from or starts as either a thought or some energy that went through that process. So, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that and whether you're in agreement or can expand on or talk about it, but also, like, how can we keep our energies clear so that we can maintain more health and balance in the body? Like, I know that a lot of people, especially now, even just in the last few months, but generally, have really been struggling in their bodies because of the stresses, because of possibly also the ascension symptoms. But there's a very large emotional component. Um, so, that's the $1 million question. Like, how can we maintain health and balance in the physical body with all the stuff that we're constantly processing, whether it's energetic or based on our interactions with the world around us? A bit of a long question, but
And we will perhaps begin to answer it in a different way than you may think,
just a
because
jump point. It's fine.
mm, we would first like to say that everything is happening for you. Everything is happening for you. And often the human wishes to look at, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? put you in a victim consciousness, as though you have no choice in the matter, when in fact it is exactly the opposite. Everything is happening for you to support you in awakening to yourself, in taking these next steps forward in your evolution. And so, as you begin to shift the thoughts, the beliefs, and the patterns that you have, you begin to shift the experience you have of your reality. So, yes, we would say that the human body is more complex than the mm, broader level four system. It is, but the mm, in general, it provides a working model to work with, to understand that you are bigger and broader and more vast than your physical system. For indeed, you do have your etheric body, you've got your emotional, your mental, your spiritual bodies, and then you have also your etheric template and your spiritual and your causal, which bring you into your Christ consciousness and your connection with all source. And even within those layers, you have within your body and connecting to this various layers of your beingness, different energy centers and lines of energy that are always interacting and coming into play. But when you are working with where you are now, it makes it more challenging to get caught into the complex, beautiful system of your larger bodies. And so, working with what you have presented, it is absolutely true that it is all starting with within your experience in the physical incarnation that you are in. It is all starting with the thoughts that you have. If we rewind it a few steps to take you back out of this body before you were birthed into the physical form, there were some patterns, identities, layers, if you wish, um, that you chose to have as your identity that became part of the egoic structure that you know about. And you are also part of uh, a line of ancestry, of heredity. And so, whether it was your direct thought or whether it was something that you chose to bring in to experience this world through, or something that came in through the genetic line of your being, they were all simply opportunities. And that's where we come back to everything is happening for you. Everything, whether it is something you perceive as bad or good, is here to support you in recognizing what is the disturbance or distortion within one layer of your body or another that will support you in seeing it, recognizing it, experiencing it, and then letting it go. The challenge that it has been is that you have a thought, you have a trauma, you have an experience, you have a feeling, something that happens, and you shut it down. You've been taught throughout your cultures, your societies, to not share your emotions, to be seen and not heard. There are many underlying beliefs and mechanisms of control, if you wish, that have kept you from truly shining and working in the fluid motion that you were intending. If everything is working in balance, and we love the idea of balance within the system. So, yes, you may have dis-ease, which is not ease in the system, but the illnesses, the sores, the pains, the emotional, mental anxiety and stress are all related to energy that is not flowing, that has become stuck, either in the physical, stuck in one of your subtle body layers, which then ultimately impacts the physical vessel because you are one with your bodies. You are not separate. And even within the humanity right now, many people try to escape the body. But you are not separate from, yes, you are not your body, but you are intricately connected in this lifetime to your body. And so, what is off balance in your body will also be off balance in your energies. What is off balance in your energies will also show up in your external reflection as imbalance in the body.
Yeah. Um, I completely agree with everything you said, and I appreciate that you brought in, the meridians and the energy centers and all of the different and the past life influence on, we've all heard stories about people who, let's say, couldn't speak their truth in a past or alternate life and then have thyroid or throat issues in this lifetime. And then once they resolve the past life issues, suddenly the throat is better and they don't have sore throats anymore, or their thyroid gets better. So there is really a lot, like, it is very complex. Um, but at the same time as it's very complex, I feel that sometimes there is a simplicity to it in terms of, like, one aspect of what you said, which is when you allow yourself to feel the emotions. And those who are familiar with my meditations know that we do this a lot and I talk about this a lot. But that when you do really allow yourself to get in touch with and feel and the emotions and allow them to flow without trying to push them away, they actually leave,
Mm.
feel just better after. It's almost, it can be cathartic, and it won't necessarily cure everything, but it's like an onion with layers and layers and layers. Um, so that's one thing that I feel is kind of important in terms of keeping our bodies in health and balance, is not being afraid to feel the feelings, as uncomfortable and awful as it may feel in the moment. But it passes quickly when you allow yourself to do it. I wanted to ask you a question again about something that you said, and this is something that many teachers talk about, and it's a slight wording issue, but I'd love to know your thoughts on it. Um, the statement that everything is happening for you, that life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you, like to kind of get you out of a victim consciousness, which I understand. The way I learned it from my teacher and my teacher's teachers is that life is not happening to you, it's happening from you, which
Mm.
to me gives us a lot more co-creational ability, that if we kind of change the channel vibrationally that we are tuning into, that we can change our entire physical and external world. Like, what I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that.
It is absolutely truth. For you are the creator of your own reality. You are all generators of what you perceive around you. And together you've created, through agreement, a broader experience that you are all co creating within. So everything happening from within you is absolutely true in its sense because everything as within, so without.
Yes. Okay. So either statement, I mean, it's really I guess it's semantics, but I do feel that when something is happening from you rather than for you, and it could be both, it could be from you and for you. Um, because I
It's
guess it's
but
also,
it is always happening for you. There is always opportunity.
yes,
So if one believes that it is happening from you, but that it has a disservice to you, that it is not for your benefit, that would be an error.
yes,
It is
absolutely.
always happening for your benefit. It is always providing an opportunity for you to grow, expand in consciousness, always, always, without exception.
Yes, I agree with that as well, because even the challenges are meant to get you back on course. And another often repeated phrase in, in what I've learned is, there's a perfection to every moment, to every circumstance. It wouldn't be happening, it couldn't possibly be happening if it wasn't perfect, with all of the permutations and combinations of what is possible and the infinite possibilities. If it happened, it has to be perfect just by virtue of the fact that it happened. uh,
Yes. We wish to address from the previous question
yes.
what we feel will support people as well. You asked about how do you ensure that we are living in our best health, our most easeful mm, experience. And you talked about experiencing the feelings and emotions and allowing them to flow through you. And you referred to the onion. And we wish to simply elaborate that you are dealing with two separate things around feeling it. What are you experiencing in the now moment that you are in? And allowing yourself from this moment forward, from the moment that you become aware that you get to be experiencing this, that you chose and wanted to experience this, and by not allowing yourself to experience it, you cause blockages, energy distortions, knots in your system that then hold density, which then hold lower uh, experience, lower vibrational experience, which is often not preferred. So there is what happens to you from what you perceive as this now moment into your future. But nobody here is starting off with the perfect balanced body for you, unless you are not in physical form in this instant. You have had an experience in this particular vibrational environment, right from your mother's womb to where you exist today when you hear these words. So there is a bit of opportunity to be the explorer as something comes up in the present moment that you are in, not digging like an archaeologist to say, what are all the pains I had over the course of my life and how do I release them from my physical body now? For you all have areas within your body, your physical structure, your energy fields that get to clear, that get to be released. The more dense, for instance, knots in your fascia, bone breakages, mental trauma, physical trauma, these things must be released over time. And so it is not, it is allowing yourself the opportunity to not continue to contribute to the stuck energy by allowing yourself to feel the experiences that you're having and enjoy them, and then allow yourself, because you are being and your team and yourself as your whole self are magnificent at bringing forth in the moment that you are in those things that you need to be aware of. So if you have a pain in your hip on this day, in this moment, this is the moment that would be worthwhile to turn your focus to that area of the body. See if you can ask, when you ask yourself, what is it that my body would like me to know? What is it that my hip would like me to know right now? And see what comes up for you, or write it out. Whichever method seems good to you, resonates with how you learn and explore with spirit. Or have it explored, as we spoke earlier, by a medical practitioner or holistic practitioner, so that you can address the stuck energies in the moment that they reveal themselves as something that's ready to be released. We
Yes.
hope that helps.
That helps a lot, actually. That it's incredibly helpful. And I think it's also really important what you said about not looking for stuff. Like, you don't have to try to dig everything up, like you said. It just, things are going to come up. And also, you know, I think you alluded to this as well, that we did come here to have certain experiences. So even if you're going through something that your logical mind is saying, why would I have ever wanted to experience, a loss or an illness or something that's not pleasant? it gives you the contrast. Like it's something that you can't experience it in a physical body unless like you come and do it. So it's kind of gives the soul a fuller experience of life, and maybe it gives you more compassion, or maybe it allows you to feel deeper feelings, or allows you to open your heart. So we never really know. um, so I really appreciate that response, and I think the people listening and watching will appreciate it as well. Thank you. um, so one Another question, well, I have, gosh, there's like so many. I think when we talk about the body, it can just be like endless. But let's say, and we don't have to go deep on this because it could be its own whole conversation in itself. But you know, once someone finds themselves in kind of a serious medical situation, like a diagnosis that that's serious and requires treatment. Like I know there are people going through that type of thing now too, or they have family members going through that type of thing. Um, like how how can we support ourselves? Like how can those people who may be on a spiritual path going through something support themselves, like in terms of getting back into balance? Even with the most serious illnesses, again, not, I mean, if you're sick, get treated, obviously, but complementary, like energetic work, and kind of maybe, yes, looking into what might the emotional, beginning of this disease be, etc. What words or thoughts do you have for those, for people in that situation?
What are you saying to yourself and others? Is it primarily the first thing? Or as you are diagnosed with something from somebody who the collective has given mm, respect to, a medical professional, for instance, you take that on, you fall into expectation. So, what is it that you're expecting? So, what are the thoughts that are going on in your mind? What are the things you are saying to yourself and others? Absolutely critical, because those thoughts are creative and have power. Every word that you think, every word that you say to yourself and to others is a powerful creator, and it turns your focus to that area. So if you have an illness, a dis-ease in the body, and you are saying to yourself, oh my goodness, I'm going to die. How did this happen? What did I do wrong? You shouldn't have thought all those things for all of that time. I only have 2 months to live. If you get into focusing on all of the things that are wrong, questioning how it could happen to you, your energy falls. Your energy falls into density and into an accord with the imbalance in your system. As two or more gather, as our channel has been talking about in this past week or so, as two or more gather, their energy is amplified. And so if you gather in a group and everyone is saying, oh, woe is you, it is so bad, and the energy focuses on what's wrong and all of the potential outcomes that are less preferred, that is the energy and focus that is coming towards that person from themselves or from others. And so, as a person who has it, it is, can you allow yourself the possibility that it's happening for you, that it is something that came from within you to show you the next step forward on your path? Feeling all of the feelings that you come up. So being aware of what you're saying, catching it and shifting it to a different verbiage, something that is at least neutral, if not positive. I wonder how this could be happening for me. I wonder what things, I wonder how it's going to manifest in an opportunity for me. It's going to be perfect. It's going to work out fine. Better than I expected. I'm always supported and I'm not doing this alone. I'm so excited to have the community around and the support who are supporting me through this. As you can see, any portion of a more optimistic, higher vibrational frequency, you are supporting your body in knowing, body, you're going to be okay. What do you need in this moment? Focusing on what it is that you need. We shall take a step back to, what if you are one who is supporting somebody who is going through a challenge like this, knowing that it is happening for them? Can you see them getting through it with ease, with healed body? Can you see them on with their life, exploring new opportunities that have opened up through this experience, seeing how they have supported others through their challenge? And can you be aware of your own projection onto the other, where you might say, oh, I'm so sorry that this is happening to her. Oh, I don't see how this is going to go well. Oh, these diagnoses aren't going well for others. You project that onto them. Your thoughts are also powerful, and what you project on another can be felt by their system. In the ideal circumstance, their field is strong enough, their circumstance is strong enough that what is projected at them is just drips away, it just falls off like Teflon. But if they are also feeling that way, it becomes a co-creative amplification energy. So back to your questions. Watch the words that you speak to yourself and the words you speak to others. Catch the ones that aren't serving your optimum health and balance in body. Talk to your body. Ask it what it needs. Give it reassurance. Let it know that you're supporting it, understanding it, and see it in its highest health. Feel all of the experiences that you're feeling. Feel all of the feelings that you're feeling as you're going through it. As we talked about earlier, if you try to repress the feelings and put on a happy face, everything's happening for me, I'm bulletproof, yet inside you are scared, you are worried, you are sad, you are angry that this could be happening. Allow all of those things to be felt and experienced so that you are not trapping the energy in your body. As Tal said earlier, those energies will flow through you. They don't wish to stay in your body. They wish to come in, give you an experience, and be gone. Those are the things that will most support you in dealing with a physical illness in the body.
That was beautiful and incredibly helpful. Um, I had the opportunity to employ a lot of those practices on a very close family member about 5 years ago, and it helped everyone. Like when you're in the caregiving role, to just visualize that celebratory dinner where everyone's free and clear and just celebrating the health, it actually helps a lot. Um, it can be miraculous.
Mm.
Um,
And we are not sure that you were able to hear, but our channel is well aware of a hawk that is screeching outside of her home. And we wish for those listening who may feel resident to receive the wisdom and medicine of hawk, for it allows you to see any circumstance from a higher perspective, just as the hawk has great eyesight to catch the smallest mouse from a mile or so up. As you allow yourself to align with your whole self and see from that higher perspective, you can begin to see the space and the opportunity more clearly than when you are at the ground level as mouse, maybe. Mm.
Yes, be the hawk, not the mouse.
Mm.
That's beautiful. I did notice the hawk. And I love that. Oh my gosh. I feel like this is similar, like a beautiful stopping point of giving us that higher perspective and leaving us with all of the positive things that we can do to influence not only our own potential body issues, but those of people that we care for, and remembering how much of a co-creative force we are in whatever experience is happening in our lives or the lives of those around us.
Mm.
Um, is there anything that you would like to add before we wrap up?
There is. We would like to speak to the vessel that you are in, the body that you are in. We want you to fully understand that it is by no accident that you arrived in the exact body that you are in. That from the other side, during your soul's plan, you chose, could see the opportunity and potential of the vessel that you could go into and live this life through. You chose it. And you chose it because it provided all of the things that you needed in order to have the fullest experience in this body that you could have through your senses and through the challenges as you may see them and the opportunities that come through it. So just as you choose a vehicle to go on vacation, you would not choose the convertible in a Arctic setting. You chose the one that is perfect for you, that has all of the bells and whistles that you need. And you have been running without a manual. And there are so many more figurative buttons in this vessel that you are in as you step more fully into a light body, as you step more fully into an understanding of this physical vessel and the energetic structures that support it in your experience in the three-dimensional world. So love your bodies. Spend less time criticizing and trying to change what you have. Our channel loves superheroes. You have the Batman car. Your body is this amazing decked out vessel for you. Don't try to change it. Don't take off. Don't try to make it different than it is. For it was created for you, by you, for the experiences you wish to have. And you are beginning to awaken to all that's possible within the vessel you have. Show it some love as you would wish to be loved. Talk to it sweetly, like you would your partner or a small child. Know that you are in this together. Your partner's in this to have the fullest experience that you can, the most joyful, high experience that you can. Love it, and don't forget that this is about bringing spirit into your body in this lifetime, integrating it, loving it, not escaping it into spirit. We love you. We have enjoyed this conversation and would be happy to join at any other time to continue. Blessings to you each until we connect again.
Thank you. Okay, now you're right. That was the place to end the conversation. That was kind of the missing piece that we, I think, needed to hear. And I thank you, and I encourage everyone to take care of your bodies, feed them right, move them, appreciate them, love them. And this has been just amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. I agree. What a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much, Tal, for coming in. Thank you, guides, for being here. And if you liked this episode, please like it, share it, turn on notifications, and subscribe to my channel. As well, if you want to find out more about Tal, again, go to Blue Angel Meditation. You can find out more about me at joannecarey.com. And if you have other things that you want to hear about, please feel free to leave a comment in the comments, and we will take that into consideration for a future episode. Blessings.
Thank you.